Hi, I'm Courtney and welcome to Food Court, where I try out a diet version of a recipe and a more traditional version so that you don't have to. Today we're going to try out a low-carb lemon blueberry bread and a full-carb version. Now, before we get started, I'm not your doctor. I'm not your nutritionist. I'm just a girl who's done a lot of diets in the past 10 years. A lot of them. Okay, the bit I forgot to say on camera is that I'm not here to perpetuate diet culture or tell you how to eat. I'm just here to have some fun. So let's get started. All right, we're going to start with the low carb version here. This is 2.5 cups of almond flour, 2/3 a cup of Swerve confectioner's sweetener. It doesn't have to be Swerve, but they were the best low calorie sweetener that I found. Just want to mix those two together. Add in a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, the zest of 1 whole lemon, two eggs, a 1/2 cup plus 1 tablespoon of milk. If you're dairy free, you can use coconut milk. Then you want to just beat all of that together until it's well combined. Add in 2.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. One tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Two teaspoons of vanilla extract, and then a 1/4 cup of oil of your choice. I used canola oil here. The original recipe called for olive oil. Once you've got that well combined, you want to put that into a parchment paper lined baking tin. You do it about halfway and then add your first round of blueberries. Add in the second half, and then you can just sprinkle the rest of your blueberries on top and kind of push them in. You're going to bake that at 350 degrees for about an hour. To make the glaze, you're going to take 4 ounces of cream cheese, a tablespoon of butter. Now I'm doing all of my whipping off camera, but you're just creaming them with a hand mixer. That's a tablespoon of lemon juice. And then another 1/3 of a cup of that Swerve confectioner's sweetener. Again, it doesn't have to be Swerve, but that's the best confectioner's no-calorie sweetener I've found. And then once it's cooled a little bit, but not all the way, you can ice it. For the full carb version, we're going to take 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking powder, and combine them in their own bowl to be added to the wet ingredients later. We're going to take 1 cup of sugar, 1/3 of a cup of melted butter, 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 eggs, and combine that. If you're interested in trying these recipes for yourself, links will be provided down below. All right, now we're just going to alternate adding our dry ingredients and our milk to our sugar mixture. I usually do mine about 1/3 at a time from each bowl. Once everything's combined, you fold in your cup of blueberries and your lemon zest. And you already see this batter is not nearly as thick as our low carb batter was. We're not going to put this in parchment paper. Instead, we're just going to use a greased loaf tin. And then it also goes into the oven at 350 for about an hour. All right, once this one comes out of the oven, you can glaze it with a 1/4 cup of sugar and a couple tablespoons of lemon juice mixed together. I recommend that you wait until it's mostly cooled and then do this entirely in the pan because that syrup can make a mess. So here we are with our finished products. I have the low carb almond flour bread and the full carb plain flour bread. Let's give the full carb version a shot first so that we kind of have a baseline here. That's really good. It's almost like the blueberries made it a really wet lemon pound cake. You should come try this. Okay, lemon is my mother's absolute favorite flavor. So if this is any good, she's gonna have an opinion about it. All right, this is the normal one. And I'm gonna take a bite of the low carb one. The low carb one does have a cream cheese frosting on it instead of a glaze. So I'm not sure about that. Weirdly, I think I like this one better. I think you're gonna like this one a lot too.
This one's lemony and the blueberry really comes out and it's moist.
That one, I feel like the texture is denser. I'll go right in where the blueberries are. I kind of think I like the low carb one better this time.
I think I do too. The texture of the cake is better.
Right? I will be fair to this one. I think to be fair to this one, the recipe called for plain sugar, not powdered sugar. So the glaze had no thickness, and I think when it's soaked in like that, it just kind of made the sponge really wet. It is really, really good though.
But I think the keto version gets my vote.
Let me get a big old chunk with the blueberries in it. The low carb version has a nicer density to the cake itself, and the cream cheese spread on it is way, way tastier than the straight lemon glaze that went on the other one. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna enjoy this for myself. Till next time.